Hello, everybody. We are Happy Investor Bangalore, and this is Sujata. I look after our clients' investments needs, and we are a bespoke investment consultancy firm. And we have with us a couple investor today who've been with us for a long time. So please welcome Sucharita and Prashanjit. They are an architect and designer couple and have been our clients for the last few years. I have personally had the comfort of interacting with them over the last 2-3 years. And they are here today to share their experience as a working professional couple and investors with us, and also the experiences that they have had over the last few years. Welcome to our channel, Sucharita and Prashanjit. And those watching, please do like, subscribe, and watch our videos that keep coming up. We are Happy Investor FinServe LLP Bangalore. Welcome, Sucharita and Prashanjit.
Thank you, Sujata.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, please do share a little bit about yourself as a couple, as professionals, and what you do.
So we are basically architects based out of Bangalore, and we are into residential, corporate, as well as hospitality projects. We do both base building and interiors. So in the services terms, it is more of design only services, and we also do execution whenever it's required.
Right. So you do the base design of the project, and
Absolutely.
Implementation is done by another set of people.
That is contracted by us. So it happens under our supervision.
So it depends.
Happens under your supervision with different vendors.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. And between the two of you, what are the roles that you play within that?
So I take up mostly the corporate projects, when maybe it could be commercial related to office interiors, as well as hospitality interiors. So I take care of the residential part. When it comes to architecture, that is base building.
Right.
When we're talking about designing a building, we both are equally involved. And one of the best things about our firm, which I would like to stress, is we give a very personal importance to the client. It's not that someone else will go and meet the client and discuss the designs with them. It's always me or her, completely connected to the client through all the stages of design as well as the execution. So that's the personalized service we try to provide through our firm.
That's nice to know that, we connect on that level where you offer a personalized service in the architectural and design line, while we at Happy Investor do that same personalized service with respect to personal finances.
We can definitely vouch for that.
So can you give us 3 important things that have changed the way you look at your finances after your association began with us? And it could also be a guide for people within your within a similar kind of profile.
So I think
any 3 important aspects.
Right. So when you say 3 important aspects, this the concept of emergency fund. Now that's a very important thing, and people don't really understand this. Like, okay, well, what's the point of saving something and not leading the life that we want to right now? So it's not about compromising your life right now, but yes, take up certain amount from your current income and put it across. You can use it whenever you want, but at the same time, it builds up over a period of time, which you don't realize that, okay, it has become such a huge amount of a certain period. And that gives you a good backup whenever you are encountered with certain unplanned emergencies, like how we faced in the year 2020 when the lockdown was declared.
True.
Then suddenly no work which was going on. And it was a period of lull which lasted for almost a year and a half. And slowly then the industry started picking up. But during that phase, it gives you a really good confidence that, okay, there is something which is there to take care of you. And then you can actually plan in improvising the way you already work. Right. That risk you can go ahead and take.
Yeah, of course, there will be different time periods for that. Of course, everybody will have a different capacity of how much you can plan for ahead of time. But that's what I understand is the intention behind it. Do as much as you can from where you are.
You should definitely start. You should definitely start, because everyone has started at some point.
One thing which we experienced is when we started with Happy Investor, we found ourselves wishing that, had we met like, at least 5 or 6 years earlier, or, at the time when we were actually started earning,
Right.
you could have planned it a lot way better. Then, there are always so much endless possibilities.
Right.
You always have a way to make it better. And financial security is, frankly speaking, not a very thing to be taken for granted, right?
So emergency funds, very important.
Definitely.
Financial security gives you the freedom to operate as you want.
And
And
the third
starting
thing-
early, starting with what you can
Yes,
is more
yes, yes.
important than anything else.
Yes.
So like to anybody, I mean, any professional, anyone who is earning a salary, the first thing that nowadays I advise is you start saving.
Right.
Immediately. Just take a section. I mean, talk to a financial advisor, discuss your lifestyle, and then accordingly decide how much amount you can actually keep aside.
जितना भी हो थोड़ा सा set it off.
Absolutely.
और expert guidance इसलिए चाहिए, मतलब some people would be like, apprehensive कि नहीं, I can save only 1,000 or 2,000, ये होता है, वो होता है, और 5,000 होता है, वो amount को लेके सोचते हैं,
Correct.
So they think that, the amount is too less, or whatever. That can be a concern for them to start out with it.
Life is dynamic. We don't know what changes come up, though we can plan for what we can expect, but we still don't know what changes come. And so is the market where your investments are. So that it's all dynamic. Like we saw what happened when the pandemic hit. But I can very say that most of or almost all our clients who were with us during that period didn't face any issues because they were covered comfortably with whatever could have happened or whatever could have gone wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you had the same experience.
Absolutely.
We did, but apart from the pandemic, we had another good experience to share. That was with respect to insurances. Yeah.
This new thing called accidental insurance. Why I'm using the word new is because we never knew about it till the investor introduced it to us, and it was really helpful. Like she met with an unfortunate accident, and there was a surgery done.
Right.
Although it was covered, she was covered under Mediclaim, but before, in the first 3 years of Mediclaim, that surgery is not covered as per the rules.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
having an accidental insurance over a period of time, they nicely covered it. And thanks to Happy Investor team, because they followed up the whole process and got it done.
Claim got
so that was like a really nice experience. One of the best experiences we have, because at that point of time when a Mediclaim gets rejected because of valid reasons only, but the team from Happy Investor sorted this out. They only advised us, okay, you already have an accidental insurance in place and you can avail this facility.
True.
So that was really helpful.
Right. So that's why the checks and balances and all of this is done with respect to each person's profile of work, profile of life, and stage in life. So each stage, each profile, each kind of work needs a different kind of treatment. Just like how you plan residences or you plan offices based on the actual utility of that space.
Right.
So as an architect couple and as those who have started off with, you would have been at work first as a salaried employee and then decided to start off on your own. And then at some stage you started interacting with us and our engagement started. What kind of advice would you give to those professionals who are at that juncture where they are thinking about, starting off on their own? So from your experiences, could you share any learnings for them?
Get your ducks in a row, I think. So the first thing is you have to have the financial overview of, the pros and cons, but you will be adjusted to a certain lifestyle. So be prepared to project and plan for what changes you would probably have to do. So that is the one first advice that I would give.
And I would use the word start investing early as possible. What happened is when we started on our own, I was still, continuing my job for a period of time. And at that point of time itself, Dipesh advised us to open a separate fund, which will, take care of the office expenses that might recur in terms of doing an infrastructure setup and all. Because at that point of time, we were working from home directly when we started. And that helped a lot. We had to invest on certain systems, very specific softwares and all. And it helped us using this fund. And, we went ahead and invested and got the required setup, which was required at that point of time.
So over a period of time, basically. So it, of course, on day one, everything doesn't happen. So we need to have that, milestones broken up to each individual's, capacity and aspiration as well. So because it varies from person to person, it's very important that you really, step back and have a very good, reasonable timeline. So defining that financial timeline that you're willing to look at is something that you possibly cannot do it on your own. You will need that guidance to think about that, what is reasonable or not, because obviously it's more about the experience, right? You would know more about the money market or the patterns of the market or what holds good. Factors like inflation's, featuring onto your lifestyle that you lead right now, and how you plan out for the retirement plan. Right. That was one.
That is one important thing.
That was one more
which people neglect generally.
Yeah. Because you're young and you are, all on the top of your spirits and you want to go conquer the world. But I think that's one check that financial planning always maintains, that reality check that,
and it's a positive thing.
It's a positive
because
check.
Generally when people talk about reality check, it's taken in a very negative way. I think that's a wrong way of dealing with things.
Okay.
It's a very positive thing to have that check early on in your career.
True. Yes, it's like when you've just started off your career and somebody starts speaking retirement, one is kind of not, it doesn't really gel. You're just when you're in your early 20s and you're starting to talk about time when you're going to be 60, one can't really draw that roadmap so easily, or you can't connect to that reality. Right. But yes, the earlier the better, you realize when you reach 50.
Later, yes.
I think people need to realize that the life they're leading right now at the age of 20 plus.
Right.
If you want to continue that at the age of 60 plus, that
then you need to start now.
Exactly.
Right. Leaving aside all your work and the professional part of your life, how has your association with Happy Investor helped you as a couple to understand finances better, or in plain terms, talk money in an easier manner?
Okay.
Because money within a couple is always a should I speak, should I not speak kind of situation. So
I think in our case, we were quite comfortable talking with each other, and we come from very similar backgrounds. So the aim was clear that where we want to, be traveling together. So because our aims were aligned with each other, it was a very mutual and impromptu discussion. Like, we didn't have to discuss much about that we need to get an expert involved. The matter was about getting who is the right person for the job, probably. So meeting with Dipesh and his absolutely relentless education drive for personal finances convinced us that
we just knew that this is the right thing.
Right.
And he also helped us streamline in terms of where we should curb certain things in our lifestyle which are unnecessary.
True. So does it help when that comes from an external?
It does.
It's not like I'm telling you and you're telling me. So the difference of opinion.
Sometimes you need a third person to point a finger at you and let us know that you probably are crossing a certain line which you can avoid.
Right.
Really. So that way it helps, because it's not a very drastic thing that he suggested us to do.
True.
What he just pointed out, certain things which we can avoid doing, and what we can actually accumulate and put as a saving for something else.
Right.
That was a very good advice, and it worked for us like a dream, I would say, because it didn't get implemented immediately, of course, because it takes time to get adjusted.
True.
But over a period of time, the yearly reviews, all these helped in getting it into a streamlined way.
So any 3 takeaways for the coming generation that you could share?
Start saving early, definitely. I
Okay.
won't use the word saving again. I stand corrected by
Planning
using the
for it.
word planning for it and getting invested early.
Right.
Because investing is a better word, not
Mhm.
only in terms of the emotion it gets connected to,
Right.
but it also gives you the diversification, because saving to many people connects it to a much old school thought where, you know, you just open an FD or I have a PF account, then why I need to go and save. That kind of a emotion gets into you.
True.
Getting a financial advisor, second point, because
Right.
no matter if you're good in your profession,
Right.
you also understand that if you're able to give a good service, just because you're an expert, you should understand you should hire an expert in some field where, you know, you need a good service.
So everybody,
That's a very
everybody
important
has their respective skill set which you should benefit from.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And yes, the insurances, the accident insurance and the medical insurance, very important, because people tend to be dependent on a medical insurance which they are getting in a job through a corporate company.
Right.
But it's always good to have an individual insurance. We realize it very late,
Right.
but yes, we realize it
And
nevertheless. But
I also realized that most non-salaried people is the, you know, overarching term I would like to use. Refrain from doing that. Maybe you know, there will be somewhere a loose floating health insurance of some kind,
Correct.
but there is so much more to that. You know, the possibilities of like the accidental insurance in our case, which worked out, right? And there are so many others with that respect, is something that benefits you really in the time of need. So we actually, we have experienced that and appreciate that a lot.
so one thing for professionals, what I would say is, when you're a self-employed person,
Right.
everything, the service which you're provided is totally dependent on you. So
Right.
you should be there for any scenario to be handled. So in that scenario, a medical insurance and an accidental insurance becomes a must,
Correct.
because you know, you should not be bogged down by certain things, certain unplanned events in your life, and then your service is getting affected because of all those other unplanned things. So these kind of things for a professional is a very important thing. They should be covered so that they are, you know, not putting their mind on such things. Rather than that, they're probably only talking or focusing on their own work.
own service.
Right. So in short, cover all your risks,
Yes.
start early, and start with the right advice and
Absolutely.
right plan.
Very important. Very important.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. And we hope we shall be able to continue our good work with you and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for sparing the time and sharing your views with us. For all our viewers, please like, subscribe, and visit our channel often. We do share nuggets like this of experiences with and live examples of how, having been their personal finance guide, we are able to help them achieve different goals in life, live a comfortable life, and also plan for the future. Thank you so much, Sucharita and Kashinjit, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Sujata.
We at Happy Investor are wishing you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.